Good evening. Welcome to the December 2025 episode of the Community Lens. I hope everybody had a wonderful December and we're here right before the new year starts. So I'm Kara Papa, your host, and let me have my guests introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Mary Santagata, and I'm the founder of All the King's Horses Equine Rescue that's located right here in Norford, Connecticut.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Kaplan. I'm on the board of All the King's Horses Equine Rescue, and I'm a two-time adopter.
Thank you both for being here tonight. I'm excited for the community to hear more and how they can get involved or help and do different things. I just wanted to take tonight just to tell you a few things as we wrap up the year, and then we can get started hearing about all the horses. So as we wrap up the year, I've been thinking a lot about things that I've learned this year. So I just wanted to share a few of them with you. So as we move through this next year in 2026, I'm going to be leaning into them more and seeing what people think. So I found throughout this year and the end of last half year is transparency is an act. We have to actively work to be transparent. People are kind and beautiful. I've met so many this year that it's amazing, the people that are out there. Community exists in cohorts of familiarity, so we have to get better at listening to everybody's stories and finding that common ground to make more connections. And the last thing that I just want to share is that access matters, and most conflict comes from fear. So if you stop and listen to the stories and find that common ground, you find that some of that fear and anxiety wash away. We will have some flyers up tonight. I have partnered with a local women-owned business to do some merch sales for the Community Lens to get the word out about the show. So in 2026, we can get some more viewers, especially on YouTube. And all of those proceeds, 10% of all sales, will go directly to the food pantry of North Branford. So you can see the link. There is a QR code and check it out. And there's also some general NB merch on there as well. But support the food pantry in a nice way. So that's what I have to share with you. I'm excited for the new year and the new guests to come on and show you what's going around town. So I'm going to send it over to Mary. Tell us about your organization.
Sure. So All the King's Horses Equine Rescue, I founded it in 2010. And since 2010, we've saved approximately around 150 equines, and that consists of horses, donkeys, mules, minis, ponies, giraffes, all sizes, all breeds. And we have recently done a lot of work with wild horses. So we have a facility located in Norford, which we're able to train and get wild horses right off the range. We have the appropriate fencing, which needs to be 6 feet high, and we have run-in sheds for those horses. So we do a lot with the United States Forest Services. We have a partnership. And with that partnership, we get the wild horses that are not adoptable, meaning they might have a deformity, they might have some lameness, they might be older. But we are blessed to have that partnership because those horses would otherwise be put down. Other than the wild horses, we like to help our community, and we have a working relationship with all the municipal animal control offices in Connecticut and the State Department of Agriculture. So we will receive equines that are from cases of abuse or neglect. And then we also help owner surrenders in our community. And those are surrenders that might have passed away. We have estate attorneys that will contact us for owners that passed, or untimely illnesses. We will also help some families with financial issues, but that does not mean we take in horses from your kid might have outgrown, or you can't ride your horse anymore. We really, as a rescue, we take those horses who are in great need. So we've taken over about 50 owner surrenders now in the state of Connecticut. And also, we have volunteers, and we've also started a therapy component, partnering with 3 of our horses in particular, well, equines in particular, Cat, who's a Mustang, and 2 donkeys. But I'll hand that over to Liz, who works in our equine therapy program.
Yeah, just a little bit, in my experience with the horse rescue, I started in the fall of 2010, and it was something in my youth, in my young 20s, and when I was younger, horses were always these magical beings that I truly didn't know much about. I grew up in South Florida, so our parents used to take us to the racetrack, and you could have brunch and watch the horses work out and things like that. So they just thought of them as these amazing things. And then fast forward many years later, there was a flyer up in our veterinarian's office down in Northford Center about volunteering at this horse rescue. And I lived in town quite a while at that point. How do I not know about this? So I went there with my daughter, who was, I think, maybe 7 or 8 at the time. And, horses, as you know, can be large and, very exuberant in how they act, and so she was there for a short period of time with me, and then I just kind of jumped into it and fell in love. And the first horse that I fell in love with was a horse that I eventually adopted, and her name was Legitimate, or Legs, that we called her, because she's a very big, beautiful, dark brown, or bay they call her, thoroughbred bear. And the horse rescue, many of the horses that come to the rescue have a variety of injuries or are very thin, and it's a really big process to get them healthy again. And whether it's veterinarian visits, refeeding programs, all of these things to really get used to love and caring, and we have these amazing volunteers. We have a great barn manager, and everyone is just about really taking the whole picture and holistically taking care of the horses, as best as possibly we can. And they experience trauma. They do, often coming to the rescue, and change, just that. And it's just been such a transformative experience for me personally. And then through Mary, I had the opportunity, I think it's going on 5 years at this point, to be introduced to Soul Friends, which is a nonprofit animal-assisted therapy organization in Wallingford, and to start to do the therapy. We mostly work with children. We've done veteran family programs, and that, just in addition to working with horses, it's so different than any other type of animal, because horses really, they're like cats in a way, where they really make you earn their trust. And you have to be very patient and calm around them, and really let them come to you. And working with children and doing the therapy program, you're able to teach them a lot about learning to read body language and communication. And horses are very direct. They tell you what they need. It could be walking away from you, like you've got too much energy for me right now, or just they may come up in your space because you have to learn to set a boundary, just like with humans. And so the therapy program has grown so much, and it's just been such a blessing to work with the trio, as we call them. And it's one of the Mustangs, her name is Cat, and then a big donkey by the name of Louie, and a mini donkey by the name of Harley, and they all live together. And you've met them,
I
Kara.
met them, yes.
And it's just watching them outside of their living space is just, it's really just, it's so cool. It's really cool. And then to go in and be able to work with them, it's really, it's magical. I'm going to use that word a lot, but it truly is. And I volunteer every Sunday afternoon. That's my shift. And I just love being around all of them and getting to know them. But the trio is interesting because Kat has an injury on her mouth, so there's a deformity there. And she thinks, she's in vogue. She's the most beautiful thing, and she is, of course. But it's just, and then you're teaching children about, she doesn't know she's different. She's just a horse, and she gets along with her mates, and they have their squabbles, but it's a really interesting family dynamic. So
Can I add something?
Yeah, please do.
So what I find beautiful about the trio is, there are these equine programs that do therapy, and they might have these horses that are really like well behaved and well experienced in riding or being around people. And our trio has all suffered some sort of trauma, and all three of them have been rescued. And Kat actually was a wild horse, and she was rounded up by the U.S. Forest Services. And when she was rounded up, she came in with an injury. And our partnership with the Forest Services, they called us and said, listen, we have this horse with this injury. Would you be interested? And I was like, absolutely. So she got that second chance because they probably would have, most after roundups, a horse looking like that, they probably would have euthanized her. So she, being a wild horse, Louis, we actually found at an auction. And not quite sure how he ended up there, but he wasn't in the best shape. And he was actually kind of aggressive when we first had him. And then Harley was an owner surrender. His owner passed away. Aww. So 3 different scenarios, 3 different traumas, and it's just kind of awesome to see how it works. Yeah. So sorry, just wanted to add that.
I'm glad. No, thank you for doing that. And we introduce clients to all the horses, but many absolutely gravitate to the 3 of them because they really they love being around people. They really do. And they have quite all unique personalities, and they're really funny. Louis gives us hugs. I'm sure you've seen pictures of it on all the King's Horses, either Facebook or, website, but we had a women's retreat. You had Michelle and I on here back in the fall. We had one in October, and there we had a woman there who's experiencing some pretty significant physical things, and literally she walked in, he walked up, and he hugged her, and we all started crying, of course. And he really has this intuitive sense of when somebody needs some TLC. He truly does. And we've had a few other horses, a few other equines that have been like that really respond, and they just know what your insides feel like. They can sense it. So it's really been, an amazing experience. And as I said, being an adopter, when I first saw Legitimate, it was truly love at first sight, and I knew really nothing. And that was a big, oh my gosh, how could I do something like this? And Mary was such a great teacher, and I asked a lot of questions, and it took me a while. And, that was just one of the best decisions I'd ever made, was to have her and just be her friend. I rode her in the 10 years that I had her, maybe a few more than a handful of times. And we were just companions. She was my big companion that I enjoyed being around. So it's been an amazing experience. And I adopted one of the Mustangs, and that's been a very good learning experience. And her name is Sequoia, and she's from this herd management area we were talking about in California. And it's definitely been a learning curve as far as her personality is very different, and she makes you really think and be patient and kind and loving, and it's been great. So being involved with all the King's Horses, and I'm assured many of our volunteers will say the same thing, that it's been an amazing experience for them, and being around them, and in whatever capacity they are,
So if I'm sitting at home and I'm thinking about it, does Soul Friends connect with any therapists? Like, say I or my child is going to therapy, and do they connect with regular therapists to bring to
Yes.
get the clients to come to?
Yeah, so how
Soul
it
Friends?
works with Soul Friends is somebody, let's say, calls in and is interested, because the website is all about animal-assisted therapy, and we have dogs, rabbits, the horses, and we do have several locations. So, Northford is my home base. So they will connect someone in need with a clinician, and then you tell them what kind of services you want.
Okay.
And then we would connect with somebody at one of the barns, depending on scheduling and things like that.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so that's how that works. And
Okay.
yeah, usually I'm the only real equine. I'm an equine specialist, so so it's a dyad. It's a clinical, licensed clinical social worker, LCSW or LMSW, and then with me, so it's like an added layer of safety with the clients.
Okay.
So that's typically how we do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. And all the work is done on the ground, so
Yeah,
there's no
no
writing
writing.
involved.
No writing. Yes. Yeah. Because there are some therapies where you would ride, right?
Yes.
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 And so my other question is, the expenses for hosting all of these horses all the time must be very high. So how can people help? What's the best way for people to help and give and
Yeah.
donate?
So we have a pretty big social media presence. So we are on Facebook. Our website is allthekingshorsesequinerescue.com. And we're also on TikTok and Instagram. So on our website, you can do monetary donations. We also, this year, actually, we opened up our first tax store. So we had gotten a grant from the Greater New Haven Community Foundation where we purchased a shed, and we sell used tack that is donated. So if you have any used tack items from horses, we could sell it for monetary donations.
Okay.
And we also do a lot of fundraising. We have a pretty big fundraiser coming up in March, and we will be putting all that information on our website very soon. And that's at the Carousel Museum in Bristol, correct? Yep. So that's coming up in March, but all that information will be on our website. So on our website, we have a donation link. We have information about the equine-assisted therapy with contact numbers, and we have an event page on there, so you can look up our fundraisers.
Awesome.
Yep.
So my initial question was, when you said you started in 2010, what got you into wanting to rescue equines?
So I grew up with horses. I grew up in Guilford, Connecticut, and my grandparents lived right next door to us, and my grandfather had horses on his property. So I never rode them, just big companions, as Liz would say, and I just enjoyed admiring them, being around them, and I just always I have a lot of compassion for animals, and I just like helping. So when, after I started my career, I adopted my first horse in 2008. And I still have her, and her name is June, and this year she is 31 years old. So after I adopted her from Connecticut Rescue, Terra Farm Rescue in Coventry, and I just started looking into things and all the trials and tribulations that equines go through, and I just wanted to help. And then I saw this barn in Norford was for rent. And that's it. It's history.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you say a lot of the horses come from California. How do you transport them here? Do you go out yourself?
No. Actually, the U.S. Forest Services hauls them to us for free.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a wonderful
great.
partnership. So
Okay.
yeah, they'll have drop-off locations to help get these horses homes, but they actually transport them right to our rescue, which is pretty amazing.
And I know that you mentioned a couple times auction. When you go to auction, are you, as the rescue, paying for them?
Yes.
Okay, so you're
Yep.
buying them at auction.
Yeah,
Okay.
correct. And We haven't done that in a while.
Yeah,
We
a long
are
time.
basically focusing on helping the animals before they get into a situation like that.
Okay.
So, you know, when we did do that, we would fundraise for the cost at auction.
Okay.
But the horses we get now are free. They're from, you know, either wild horses or abuse and neglect cases from animal control.
So when you get abuse and neglect cases,
Mm-hmm.
does the state support you with
No.
them? No. That you just take them in and
Yeah.
then you support them yourself.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's important to
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Yeah. So when
Yeah.
we take in horses, we will, you know, put that on social media and let people know. And if, you know, if it's in someone's heart to donate, that's wonderful. So we will, you know, if you follow us, we will always show when there's a new rescue coming in.
Is there a list of fosters? Do you have a list of volunteer
Mm-hmm.
foster barns too? Nice.
Yep, we have a couple foster, you know, families that we work with, and we're very particular on our foster homes, and the ones we have are absolutely wonderful. So it's people who are looking to just do good for us. They're not looking for anything from us.
Okay.
Yeah, so we in foster situations, we continue to pay vet care and those costs, but the
Okay.
foster pays for all their food and farrier care. And we have a wonderful home in particular right here in North Branford.
So, so the costs, because it's important, this is really hard work, but it's also very expensive
Yeah,
work, right?
it's
So
very expensive.
costs would be farrier, food,
And food and
hay,
bedding. Yep.
bedding. And you said that you have a barn manager too, so you have,
We do.
is that an employee?
That
of
is an employee,
of
yep.
Okay, so, yeah, all of those things need to be supported.
Oh, yeah.
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 So it's really important. But have you ever had any of the students in town come out and volunteer, or do you do field trips for the kids to come?
We've had, well, Liz could speak to that too, because Liz is a teacher right here in North Branford. And we've actually had a lot of teachers that have volunteered, but go ahead, Liz.
So recently, we have an 18 to 22 program at the high school, currently housed at the high school, and they would love to come monthly. They've expressed this to me. We brought them out. I think there were 5 students that came, 4 or 5, and we came out. I think it was in November. And we were there for an hour, and they got to meet everybody. And so the 18 to 22 program is like a work program, so they'd want to come and do chores and things like that. We have also done field trips with several of our teachers have gotten together, and I forget, this was a few years ago, we did with our health teacher and one of our special ed teachers. I think this was when we were sharing a location in Guilford. We probably had about 40 students at that location. But I know I've spoken to Mr. Schoonmaker, and he is very supportive of anything that we do with the schools at the rescue, and it's so close by. And Mary's been incredible with any crazy ideas that I have, thrown out at her. But education is so important, and doing. Paying something forward, doing something, a kindness, especially for animals that can't do for themselves.
Yes.
And we would love to do more. We really would love to do
Yeah.
more with the school community. And I mean, I'm talking elementary all the way up to the high school. So, and it's so wonderful to have, a nonprofit such as this in town that you can see as you're driving on, 22, just to be able to educate people about what it is that All the King's Horses is all about.
Yeah. And
We've also had Evergreen Woods has done field trips to us, and we've had a presence we've been at the Potato and Corn Fest, and we've been at the Norford Community Church, and so yeah, we're open to a lot of community events and ideas.
nice.
Plus, we do have 2 open barn events a year, one in the spring, usually around May or June, and then one in the fall. And it's open to anyone. We advertise it on social media, and it's about education. We also have raffles and things like that. We sell merchandise.
I think I came this
yes,
year.
you
yes,
did.
Yeah, and I got a
And-
nice tour.
And that was the first time we had opened the tack shop, and we sold a lot of merchandise from that. But it really is about the people seeing the horses and the equines and what it's all about, and it's really fantastic.
It's amazing. I fell in love with Honey. I haven't found her a home yet, but I keep trying.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
This is great. And I hope that our viewers listening can get involved and go out and take a visit, buy some tack, because I know that we have some barns in town that give lessons. So students out there, if you need some tack, stop by, support them, and definitely stay involved. So I want to wish everybody a Happy New Year. We'll see you at the end of January. I want to throw out there that there are some public hearings coming up at the town hall. Please come out and say yes, because I know it's easy to come out when you're frustrated and you want to air your grievances, but it's really important for us to hear from everybody who is supportive out there as well. Bring some joy to those meeting rooms. And don't forget, you don't have to come out, because I know everybody has a busy schedule. You can email in to the town manager's office your testimonies, and they get read into the record. So let's bring some community together, have some voices heard, and find our common ground. And I hope everybody has a great and happy New Year. Signing off for 2025.
Hi, my name is Megan, and I'm the owner of Get Organized with Megan Rose. I specialize in helping people create organized, stress-free homes through my services, which include decluttering and organizing, donation pickups, and daily chores such as laundry, dishes, and tidying up. I understand that inviting someone into your home can feel overwhelming, and many people feel hesitant or embarrassed. But I want you to know my services are 100% judgment-free. I'm here to help, not judge. In addition to my organizing work, I'm also the administrator for our town's free page, where I donate many of my clients' unwanted items to help others in the community. Giving back has been an important part of my business since the very beginning. I've lived in North Branford for 11 years with my boys, and I truly love being part of this community. Right now, I'm running a giveaway for 1 free hour of my decluttering service. Everyone who enters from town will receive $15 off their next session. Be sure to check out my Facebook page, Get Organized with Megan Rose, to learn more about my services. I hope to hear from you soon.